Welcome to a new live stream. Halfway, it's
Halfway.
Yes, it's almost a live stream because we are recording live and air it later as we both are occupied later on. However, today the topic will be very interesting because we are talking about custom printed playing cards. We get some requests on a daily basis, more or less. And it's a big topic, and it's hard to say this will be your solution, as a lot of solution exists depending on your project and problem. And to go into the detail and that you can find your solution for your idea, I will tell you after the
Intro.
Let's go.
Then.
Well, as Card Shark, we are producing a lot of playing cards since 2005, 2006, and certainly we have to produce, well, we are specialized for playing cards for magicians. So if someone is asking me for decks of cards for...
Like I did.
Yes, exactly. Then it's perfect if you're a magician, or at least you want to have a great quality, because certainly there are printers out there with a very bad quality and reputation, and well, if it's just for throwaway cards in Chinese quality, then certainly you will find cheaper versions. But if you are really dependent and searching for a good quality of playing cards, then stay tuned. We will tell you everything about it.
Card Shark is the place to be. I can tell from my experience that Christian is the right person to ask to, or to talk to, if you want to be producing your own card decks.
Yes, I love to help and find the best solution for you, and same for you. You wanted well, it's a little bit later when we are talking about his deck of cards and his release. Very interesting, so stay tuned. We did not only one deck, but we did two decks at the same time. Yeah, that was really interesting. But however, well, most magicians start with only an idea of a single card. So if you need to have a certain gimmick with a misindexed 7 of spades and 8 of spades, or a misindexed king, etc., etc., then I printed them for years, many years. Back then with a special laser printer. This laser printer is no more.
Rest in peace.
Yes, rest in peace. And also the toner that was used for it changed over the time, so it was really nice when the toner was standing on the card in a very good quality, and it's very hard to scratch off the color. However, somehow the toner changed over the years, and I could not continue with this. So
sad.
Yes, so if single cards need to be printed, it could be done. You know the solution as well. And actually the only idea that I would have at the moment is to use a UV printer for this. A UV printer can print almost on everything, on playing card, on telephone backs, and so on and so on. It's a special primer that is applied to the surface of a playing card. However, as you know, when you had recently done a deck of cards, right? Yeah,
definitely. But you absolutely feel the difference to a regular card. So do you feel that there's some kind of layer on the card? Because you can feel the ink or whatever is the material.
Yeah, so you have a kind of a structure on it.
Right.
And as long as the cards are all aligned in the same way, so that they are touching a regular face, they still spread nicely.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
However, when you turn over one card, then they interfere, that two printed surfaces come together and you have some interference.
Right, it's a little bit like rough and smooth sometimes, so it depends on what color you printed, and I had the feeling that from color to color it varies.
Yes.
How it works, but yeah, you definitely have some kind of residue on the cards. That's
if it has to be like a card inside a Phoenix deck or a US playing card deck, then maybe that will be the solution for smaller runs anyhow. And if a spectator will not touch the card, then all is good. I mean, the colors are okay. They don't match exactly the colors. They cannot.
They don't.
Because the Pantone colors of the faces and the backs of Phoenix and Bicycle and all the other USPC cards, these Pantone colors are they cannot be matched with a CMYK printer. CMYK stands for cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. These are the colors that an offset printer or a UV printer and so on, a toner is printing to simulate any color in the universe. However, there are certain limits, especially with green colors, but also the red of the faces and so on. So you can only try to match them, but if you look close, you will see some differences. So, you did something for a wedding or so?
Yeah, I do customized cards with a wedding theme on the back side of the card, so it doesn't really matter if the colors match exactly.
It's just a couple.
Take it approximate of the color, and that's fine for that.
It's also okay if you want to have, for instance, a packet trick with 5 cards and so on. And we can certainly recommend there a friend of mine in England who is printing these cards. However, I prefer to custom digital offset print the cards. And this is only possible not with a single card, but with a single deck, and that's this one here. So if you are thinking of getting, let's say, a packet trick printed because you really like the idea, and it consists of 6 cards, then I would recommend, if you really like the effect, why not printing a full deck of cards just with these 6 cards, repeating over and over.
Makes sense.
That gives you 9 sets of these 6 cards. Yes, and you can perform it longer, and when it's worn out, because it's your favorite trick anyhow, you will replace them with new cards, and it's way more affordable than a single print.
That's a smart idea.
Yes. So that's what I then do as well. If someone has a known idea for the Gypsy Curse or any other Monty effect with custom printed faces and so on, this is what I like to recommend. And I design everything and can print you a single deck of cards. And it does not have to be a poker size card or even a larger size card in case you want to perform this on stage. It could also be something very, very small and tiny, like this one. Well, it's not a poker deck, even if it looks like one, because if it's a poker deck, then it looks like, well, you have to do this on the top, yes. So I printed the mini cards because we are still owing the mini card production to the community that we still have to produce, and this one was a prototype. As you can see, and you cannot see maybe, I used the large index faces on the mini cards.
I do see.
And that way, if you are familiar with the mini decks that you can buy, it's way harder to see, right? Because the index is way smaller. But when I use the large indexes, then it more looks like a normal card. However, it's not. And this one here is a marked mini deck.
Yes, that's a great one. Yeah.
Yes, but it's not the normal typical marking, because that might be too small. But I was trying to play around with this, and certainly you cannot see this with the resolution. But this would be an ace of clubs, for instance, because I'm using a very popular design that I'm using on several other decks, like the Daredevil deck and so on and so on. What do you think about this idea of printing with marking?
I like it.
Has something,
right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
It would be the first small
I think it's a good idea.
Mini deck with markings.
It's a fun deck. You can do some fun effects with it. So I don't really think
they're really missing so far. Yes.
And I don't really think anyone would suspect a mini card deck like this to be marked.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, by the way, and if you see these cards, this is certainly a red that was then simulated, and here you can see the difference. That the brilliance, etc., is missing. This would be it's hard to see, but this is a USPC playing card with the Pantone color that you know, and here you see it's a little bit dull. For a spectator, it would not go through, but if you try to add this card, well, in poker size, to a regular card, then you might to a regular deck, you might see the difference. And I would not recommend to mix the single decks with the normal deck of cards.
But I can tell you something. I tried at this weekend because the special printed cards were standard index.
Yeah.
And I only have large index right now, and I was a little bit afraid if I can use it together.
And
but
let me tell you, nobody noticed.
Nobody. I did that effect, I think, around 10 to 12 times. Nobody noticed anything.
And you mixed the normal indexes with the large indexes, right? And they never caught it.
I did Chicago opener. You know how often you see the card? Nothing. I was a little bit afraid, but I can tell you that it works. So
I know it, but it's nice that it's confirmed.
Yeah, I can 100% confirm that.
Yeah. So if you are not familiar, we released, or I created the large index decks that have an index that is 50% bigger than the normal one from USPC, from Bicycle. Mm-hmm. And the Phoenix large index deck is really a big add-on to the whole Magic world.
It is.
And so far I produced all kinds of different decks. But then I can now send some of the large index blank bag decks to my friend, so that the next time you will not have the problem.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, so he can do this then for you in the future. Yeah, great. So he can do this as well. Perfect. But when I print something for a single deck of cards, I'm totally free because I'm the designer and I can create any design. So even if you want to have a Phoenix bag that is copyrighted, it's my copyright, so I'm allowed to alter it, adjust it, and add some features to it so that it really doesn't hurt when I do something else on it. I'm not USPC with the legal department, fearing that something weird will happen if I would mark the back of a bicycle.
I think you should say that. You have a legal department. It's right in that corner.
Yes, but I'm not afraid. Like, well, as magicians, we like to alter some things and pretend that something is normal, but it's not.
Yeah.
Yes, certainly. So if you can do it in this way, that you need a deck, and it's perfect when you say, for instance, for a wedding, also you want to have 2 decks of cards, perfect for this. Sometimes I'm even mixing. There's another guy who called today who wanted to have 5 or 6 decks for a trade show for his customer. That means they want to have their branded back on the cards. However, it's so much nicer if I would also then print 1 extra deck with all the gimmicks that are needed for him. If he's like, for instance, prefers double facers or double backers, etc., I can add all this in the branded design to an extra deck that nobody else will see, and he can do all the magic that he needs to with all the gimmicks that usually wouldn't be missing if he would go for something custom printed at a third-party printer. I don't know. So I can do all this. Yeah, and this is the edition that I usually do for weddings, trade shows, etc. And we are still not there with you yet because there's still another option.
Don't worry.
And this is a single card in large quantities. Oh, I didn't bring. I could. Yeah.
What do you need?
Actually, I'll go here to my bag.
So, Christian.
What are you talking?
Yeah. Now I have to bridge the. Oh, you already got it.
Yeah, I know where
perfect.
It was.
Perfect.
Yes, I know where it was. So with this, you can also do, for instance, your own business card in a version that you would have any face printed. It could be a full color print with a photo, etc., with any back design. If you like, you can take your phone and scan this one in, because it has all my address details hidden inside a back design, but it's a QR code, as you can imagine. And you can add details and have a business card that, if it has a normal back, you can also put it into the deck of cards, and it would be a perfect end for an ambitious card routine, etc.
Right.
Yeah. So when you want to have this, then I can recommend you that you would be added to a custom printed sheet. This unfortunately is not happening too often, maybe 2 years per year, 2 times a year, 3 times a year, because we are printing a complete sheet at USPC 2,500 times. That means we are producing 2,500 decks. And your card would be one of the cards inside of these decks. That means, for instance, instead of the first Joker, it would be your business card.
All right.
Then we would have about 1 week of Netflix. a lot of watching, a lot of sorting, because we would have to open up all 2,500 decks.
Oh, that's great.
Sort all the cards, and later on you will get a pile of 2,500 cards, all the same. And many people then ask, but can I have a different back design, or is it half and half, what I can do? No. The typical print at USPC is an offset print. That means that a film is made or a plate is made, and then the offset printer is printing over and over the same design. That means all the 2,500 decks look absolutely the same when they don't do any color problems, but yeah. I'm using casino quality, so they are the same. And your playing card will be 100% identical all over. And when we are sorting them, you get 2,500 cards all the same. Yes.
Great.
I have to say that USPC is taking the freedom that they can produce 5%. Is it 5%? 2,500?
I don't know.
No, up to 10% more or less.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so that means when we do the deal,
yeah, have a good day.
Yeah, the thing is that, and at the beginning I didn't understand it, but now I do, because when they produce, first they are printing the faces, and then it dries. And when they are doing this, then certainly the first, I don't know, 50 or 100 sheets are crap.
Okay.
So scrap. So they are throwing them away. So they maybe start with 3,000 sheets to print, and then they turn them around after drying and they print the next one. And there might be, again, some that are scrap, and they are throwing them away. At USPC with bicycle decks, for instance, those decks are not thrown away. They are then sold as seconds.
Yeah.
Or if they are B,
everyone knows them.
If they are B, then they are sold into the Middle East as a different brand.
Oh.
Yes, cool. So all this is used.
I didn't know that.
That lowers the price all over, because they are still using also the scrap, but that's not what I want. I only want to have good quality, so everything is thrown away. Only the good quality survives, but it can always be anything between 2,250 and 2,750 decks.
Okay.
Yes.
Good to know.
So and this will vary a little bit in the price, and it's astoundingly affordable, because if you get 2,500 cards, it's only $330 or 330 euros. I think that's really a reasonable price.
That's really cheap.
It is for all the sorting, printing, and we are printing in 6 colors.
Oh, that's good.
That means we have the CMYK for a photo, for instance, plus the red and the blue that we don't show here now. For the backs, so that all colors of a normal deck of cards are covered.
So it's definitely cheaper than a regular business card. If you let them print it in that amount, I think you're around that value.
Interesting, yeah, could be, yes. Well, but certainly it's a little bit more than a business card, I would say. However, you have such a unique, different thing, different size, and you can do magic with it. What better could happen?
That's the best thing.
Yeah. So. And then comes the next thing, because sometimes people want to have their own deck of cards, but they cannot afford it. Let's say you have an event, or you want to start a backroom sale as a magician. That means
with a small amount.
Yeah, with you're performing several times a year. When this C problem is over, and we can move on, and after the show you would have a table at the back where you would like to sell maybe some merchandise, some t-shirts, etc. But you cannot afford a complete deck of cards because it's a huge investment.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And maybe you want to start with something. There are 2 possibilities that I would recommend. One would be, first of all, stay with a standard deck of cards. It could be a Phoenix deck, hopefully. And I would give you a good price for the Phoenix cards. Now, to brand the deck itself, I would recommend that, for instance, one of the cards you would exchange, maybe the Joker or the Ace of Spades, and you get the custom printed card, the 2,500, and you have the Ace of Spades in there, and replace it with your own logo.
With your own logo, yeah, why not?
And therefore, even if it's a Phoenix deck, no customer would know that the Phoenix is not yours, and you would already have your deck of cards. And at the moment inside of a Phoenix card case. However, you can also customize the card cases, because we are also producing sometimes just the card cases, like this one here, and it would look like this. You would get a card case printed like this, we are applying some double-sided tape so that you can easily fix
glue
everything.
Together, yeah.
Yes, absolutely, and it's and you can even have a double-sided box so that it really looks nice when you are completing it, and it looks very classy, very cool.
Yeah, I really think that makes a whole difference if you print it from the inside as well.
Yes, we did it with your cards as well. It was a little bit more expensive than...
Yeah, but I think it's worth it.
Absolutely worth it, yeah, I'm 100% sure. And certainly there are possibilities out there that you would use a special colored carton and then print on this. And you can emboss and you can do whatsoever. There are 1,000 ways to opt to add more to the card case. However, I think
foiling or
yes,
or
absolutely,
right,
and sometimes I think it's just over the top and it's not really necessary. It doesn't change too much.
True.
As long as it has a really nice design, etc. I think it's definitely worth it. And so far, for instance, I produced also the cards for the Dickens Theatre. No, that was not with this one.
Wrong one.
Yes, the cards for the Dickens Theatre from Rich Block. And this was actually printed at USPC. Back then we were still using the small index cards. And as you can see, you would also get some special cards, as we are doing 56 cards altogether inside a USPC card case. And that was their design that they wanted. And as you can see, it's a full color. So yeah, that's printed with CMYK to make this all happen. And here it's not a red box, but it's a printed brownish color on the outside, but on the inside it's still this one. Now, if you would ask USPC to print also on the inside, yes, that will be a very expensive. Not nightmare. I mean, if you can pay everything, right?
Yeah.
But there are certain features where they are not the best, where they are charging a lot for. So that is the nice part, that when you work with me, I am choosing or picking the right companies you can print with, depending on the time you have, the budget you have, the amount of decks you want, etc., etc., so that we can find the right solution for your problem. And that's the interesting part. I also did the Illusionist deck for the Illusionist tour with Luis de Matos. Where he wanted to have a magician's deck, a magic deck inside with long and short cards. Try to do this with USPC.
It will not work.
That will be a nightmare. Definitely. So. But when you're printing with the right partners, then you will be able to manage this and have a really great output. And then we are almost already with yours, right?
I think so.
I think so, because now we can do custom printed runs. That means you get your own deck of cards printed. Now here's the problem. If you are thinking that 100 or 200 decks of cards is already a lot,
it's not.
It is not.
That rhymes.
No. Well, there is a possibility. I didn't follow up too much with it because Cartamundi is doing also smaller runs with digital offset, and the quality is good. I have several of those. Very
expensive. I requested a quote for that, and I can tell you it's very, very expensive.
Yeah. So if you want to have a deck of cards that you can sell for a reasonable price, let's say within $10 or 10 euros or so, you would be left over with a loss, because the decks one by one would be much more. So I would not recommend, if you really want to have a smaller number, if you can only afford 200 decks, I would recommend going for the other version, like having your own box, getting the decks on time, and then you would sell them in the backroom sales. And with that money that you gain there, you put it aside, and when you have enough, then you start your own print run. Yes, but you start somewhere and go from there. I think that's the best solution, and you also will know how many you already sold. So so that you would.
Or another option might be a Kickstarter project where you can fund your project, as you guys know that's possible. But that's a whole different story. But
yeah, to make this work, you really have to start early with social media, with a group of followers, and so on and so on. Just adding something to a Kickstarter is like I don't know.
It's hard to be found there. I think there's a lot of playing cards built, and
that's the problem, because everybody is doing it now.
Right.
So being found and then being successful in selling them.
That's a whole different story.
Yes, we know friends who have a big group of followers. They can easily handle, I don't know, 20,000 decks and put them through within a week or so.
Yeah.
However, even me would have, I would have problems with that quantity, etc.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
I think 20,000 decks is a lot.
It is.
It is.
Yes, even a smaller one. So
yeah,
certainly with big hype and having the contact with all the dealers like Illusionist, Theory 11, etc. However, it's not what I would look for. I would like to give you a good quality and the best service to have your backroom sales. So having a custom print is usually starting with 1,000 decks of cards. And with 1,000 decks of cards, we can start printing with different printers around the world. And actually, we don't have that many. We don't have that anymore. My God,
that many anymore.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, yes.
That's okay.
Reduced to a
That's
couple.
That's what I'm here for.
You reduced to a couple. Let's say with a good quality. I'm not sure how many of playing card companies in China exist with a questionable quality.
Oh yeah, I've seen a lot of very bad card decks.
Yes,
it's horrible. So. Yes. A lot of big names in the industry is selling
in these Euro shops, and Dollar Tree, etc.
And also some of the big names playing in Vegas, selling their own cards are really bad. I don't say any names.
Well, they hope that you are collecting them and just putting them in. Because if they are as heavy as a normal deck of cards, you don't have to spread them.
It's totally plastic stock, and so it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
So that's not a good quality.
Happens, but if you are more focused on the quantity and not the quality, and that's okay as well. If let's say Penn and Teller are producing so many decks of cards, but they are totally focused on a souvenir sale. So
I really don't think that really matters. So they are not selling to magicians. I think they're selling to regular people, and they mostly will buy it as a souvenir.
That's definitely a souvenir
so,
in the souvenir shop. And you know what they are using on stage? Phoenix cards. That's really
the only right choice.
Yes, it is. And if you go for a large index, that was the choice of magicians. Yes. So the great Tom Sony said he was very happy that I released them for the magic community before he passed away.
It's a great thing. I told you.
Yeah.
A few times before, there are some really great inventions that you did, and I'm happy that they are there. And I think a lot of magicians are really happy about that. There are some things.
They are now out for 5 years. I think that's a deck of large index. Yes, they are out for 5 years now, I think. And let's go for this. And you might not even notice the difference. However, when you compare them with a regular deck, Dickens has it.
So I can tell you, I totally changed to large index because it's something. If you're a working magician and you're standing in front of people, they are way more far to see. So the people from the back row can see the cards as well as the ones in the front row. And to me, I don't want to change back to the standard indexes. I only use large index.
And you can see it already here on the spots. You don't see a big difference in the center because the inner part only was reduced by 8%. However, the index was increased by 50%, so that when you look at the whole shape and the spectator looks at the whole image of a card, the Gestalt, and not just the index when you have a fan. So this is a great compromise instead of having a jumbo index card. And as you can see, even the court cards play well. This is a large index, and that's a regular one, and you see that the Q is much more visible. Right. So it's great for Zoom magic. It's great for a table of 10 people when you do magic in close-up and so on and so on. And people would not even notice if you go back and forth with small and large indexes.
No, they don't.
And interestingly, Boris Weil told me that since he is using the large index cards, the spectators tend not to forget the card they chose.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so yeah, if you ask after a while, yes, because it seemingly burns further into their brain.
Yeah, I think so.
When they have to pick a card. Yeah, it's cool, right?
And let me tell you, I think it's a really huge difference if you use to large index and you switch back to standard index. It's like, what's wrong here? So that's really what happens.
It's kids card. Or going back to bridge size. I mean, bridge is also very tiny, the index, so it doesn't really make sense. But it was good enough for Divergent, so I don't know. Okay. I really don't know.
We to tell.
But but when you released your own deck of cards, did you add the video?
Yes, I did it.
Oh, cool. You released a deck of cards just recently, a week ago?
Right, a week ago. Last Tuesday was release date. I'm very proud of it. With your help, it came to life.
Yes, and it was the, let me see.
Yeah.
The MS
I call
Splat
it
cards.
the Splat deck, right, exactly because of the splat in front of the logo. And
And MS is not standing for motorship, right?
No, it's not. It's definitely not.
So his logo is, I can show you the nice decks. They are really beautiful. And as you can see, these are really cool colors.
Yeah.
But before we go any deeper, do you want to show the trailer?
We show you the trailer and we'll be right back. I hope they work. Boom!
Hey,
there we go.
There was a very, very cool color change. How did you
do that? I don't tell you. I don't tell you. It's secret.
I guess it was. You were also the guy who made my trailer for the Vibrant Edition collector's box.
With the snap.
With the snap. And when you understand the snap, why it works, then you might know why the color change works.
Try to figure that out.
Yes. Well, yes, certainly we have all these decks here, and so far Mark is focusing on his German followers and friends, and for
the community mostly. It's mostly was a community project from the streaming community, but I really think maybe sometimes we can make that bigger and also sell in other countries.
And here comes the interesting part. Actually, it wasn't for the community.
Why?
It was meant for you.
Oh yeah.
Because when you contacted me early enough and before the C problem, then it was really meant that you wanted to have your own deck of cards for your gigs, etc. And we started talking about it, but then it stopped because, well, we all know what happened then. And now with the community, etc., it's an interesting project to do way more. Right?
It changed everything up a little bit, but the idea was existing for I think around 5 years or so. I really thought when I started to think more about branding for my own name, and so I thought, why not using an own card deck? And I really like popping colors like those. I think that definitely catches the eye.
Yeah. If you have your own Instagram channel, your own Twitch channel, right? Yes,
right. So, exactly, and YouTube and everything. And but during COVID, everything changed, and I started to stream, build up a community. So all this became more or less a community project. And I thought, why not do a limited edition like with these boxes, which is thanks to Richie, by the way.
Yes.
Those boxes exist because of him, and I really, really like them.
Even if they look beautifully made, well, they are beautifully made, but every single piece is
handcrafted by us.
Yes, glued manually, everything.
Cut it out.
Well, not the playing cards. We're not talking about those. But this beautiful box here that is also numbered, limited, etc. Is something very, very unique that only was, well, you're selling 111 of those.
Right. Of the double boxes, 111,
yes.
yeah.
Now, to make it more interesting for the international community, I was able to convince you that we would, not this one here, that's the half brick box with 6 decks, but I will add these decks to my shop for a short while because the quantity, and here comes the interesting part. You didn't go for a really big quantity.
No, I did not.
Because usually we are starting with 1,000 decks. The better quality or the better price would be 2,500 decks. And with 2,500 decks, I would normally go to US Playing Card Company, because with 2,500 decks and more, they are really an interesting version. These are cards printed at in Taiwan at a printer friend of mine. And the quality is just
really, really great. So let me tell
awesome,
you,
yes.
when I first saw the COVID edition that you did,
yes.
that was the first time I came in contact with this finish, and I really, really like it. And by what I can tell so far is from everyone who had the decks in their hands, they really like it. It's a really slippery feel. The cards definitely feel different to use PCC.
A little bit softer, right?
A little bit softer, right? And it's a little bit different, but I really like the finish. So I love to try out new things.
Yes, and that's also why I did the COVID edition, just to give the alternative to the community.
Exactly. I really think if you don't try other things, you will never find out if there's anything that works better.
They are a little bit like the double crushed bicycle cards, right?
True.
Yes. I made sure that we are still talking about the linen structure inside the cards that you are familiar with using USPC cards. With our Phoenix cards or bicycle, this is included there as well. And the interesting part is you can really start mixing these cards with a USPC deck.
Exactly. Yeah. I did that at the weekend at the last gig. I did, so you don't see any difference. The size.
Really, you did?
I did. Yeah, I did the custom printed card inside there. And then
but because here all the court cards are a little bit tinted. They are using the colors of the.
That's right, but that didn't.
They didn't notice.
No, nobody noticed anything. So I tried that out.
Okay, there are two possibilities. Either your magic is so bad that they don't care what happens, or you're so good that they really don't.
Maybe. I don't want to find out. I really don't want to find out. So yeah,
very, very cool.
Yeah. But I really try to make some popping colors, and I really love how they came out. Thanks to you and your great ideas that you had. It's large index. That's
including the Pantone color fan that we used.
Exactly. That we were searching for a long time.
Yeah, that's the thing. We are printing with Pantone colors if possible. I mean, these brilliant colors you don't get in CMYKs. These are a one color print, and to make it really happen so that you can speak the right language with the printer, you have to tell them the exact number of Pantone, and Pantone has thousands of colors, all very slightly different, and you have to invest, well, we have to invest into a Pantone fan where I can show my customer what is possible, how would it look like if you try to do the same thing with CMYK, so that you can compare, and so on, so that you make an educated choice when you know, okay, this is the color I want because it also matches, or doesn't match, but it doesn't matter because I want this color. Right, and so on, because it matches the paint of the nails.
Yeah, that's the most important
girlfriend
thing.
Or wife.
Right, yeah. but let me tell you, I really think the colors came out better than I expected. So it really looked great on the Pantone fan.
Yes.
But I think in real life printed, it looks definitely better.
You never saw after that the Pantone next to the colors.
No, I did not.
We should do this. Yes, to show you that we really match the colors. Right there, because that's the nice part. The Pantone colors are equal all over the world. So if I'm looking at a fan at a color with a certain number, I know that the printer who is making the decks later on has exactly the same color in front of him and will match this color, so that everything will turn out exactly what you expected. That's what we try to do.
Great.
Now, as you saw, everything is very limited because every card, every deck was only printed 500 times. And it's also your private use as well for your gigs.
Definitely, yeah.
So not a lot of those decks will ever see the outside world, but will stay with you. That's true. However, you are giving away 111 of these double boxes, or some of those decks. Now here comes the interesting part. These decks have 56 cards.
They do.
Like the USB-C cards. With Taiwan, I can print 54 cards, 56 cards. But in this particular case, we did even more.
Yeah, right. We did 60 cards, and that's a really great thing. They came delivered outside of these boxes. That's the reason why you don't get the special GEF cards with these decks if you only buy a single deck.
But there are GEF decks inside.
There are two GEF decks inside there, right? It's a double backer and a blank backed card.
Yeah, you have a double backer. Right. The double backer on one side is always blue or teal.
Right. And then the pink back, it's teal and pink.
Yes.
So I wanted to try two different double backers.
Oh, we mixed this one already.
Right.
Where is it? This one.
There you go.
And the
because
back one?
that's for a trick that I release in the near future. So you need this double backer for this. But we have also included 8 cards. If you buy the double set, there are 8 GEF cards included from the 60 cards.
That you saw with the great color change.
Oh yeah, yeah, right, exactly.
Shall we show them one more time?
Maybe, why not?
Why not, right? Or they are inside of this box here, so maybe we can look inside.
Yeah.
So, what do we have? Do you want to say something about those?
Yeah, why not? Okay, so we in the next days we are going to produce a tutorial for this. So I really thought about what cards.
The tutorial, will it be in English or German?
It's usually meant to be in German, but if we have the necessity that someone from England is buying it, we also would be filming an English tutorial as well, because we are customer friendly.
Wow. Well, he's also editing all the new videos of us and helping with the new releases. So yes, he knows and recommended that we will produce it our videos in 2 languages, German and English.
That's true. That's my bad.
Thank you. Yes, double the work.
Double work, right?
Yes.
But I really thought about the tricks that I'm using when I go to gigs, and I really wanted. So the biggest problem that I found with custom decks was mostly that you couldn't buy any extra cards. Most of the time, you get a double decker.
So having a duplicate.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Right. But I thought I'm going to use some, or I'm going to print some of the gaffs that I regularly use. And you have a duplicate 4 of spades, then you have a misprinted King of Diamonds and King of Hearts in this teal deck.
Always good, yes.
That's a good one. You can make a vanish with this card. It's a 7 and 8 misprinted.
So many utilities. If you if you know the green book of Pitt Hartling.
Mm-hmm. You can do so much stuff with those few cards. And there's another blank back King of Hearts on the teal deck. Mm-hmm. And also here we have on the pink deck we have a misprinted Queen of Spades and Queen of Clubs, a duplicate 7 of Clubs, and that's my favorite card. Definitely, it's a card if you're familiar with Angle Zero by Daniel Madison, or we did a little bit of a different spin on this. I think that's it's a great effect that comes out with this on the front side, and you see more in the tutorial that we bring out the next day.
And it really is not glued on it. It's really
printed it's inside, on it,
right? But this will be amazing.
So basically, you can make a card edge vanish and make it appear inside the card. So
and the nice part is, as it is a back design, you can do it several times with different values, because you're not having a single value in here. Once you tear it, it's done. You can always do it over and over again.
Exactly. And then there's one blank card on the front.
You never know why, but okay, this one we have in the deck as well. So
that's
good.
No, it's the blank back that's in the deck. Yeah, that's the difference.
Yes,
that's different.
With the blue one, we have the blank face. Right. Yeah, so great variations. We have these two. Well, later today or tomorrow, I will add these options to our online shop, so that you can get your hands on a few of those. It will not be a lot. So please act fast if you are interested in. It's definitely a collector's item. Only 111 of those sets, trick cards with the 2 decks were ever printed, and half of them are more or less gone.
Yep.
Yes, so I might be able to get a few because he will also sell on his website. He continues to sell there. If you come first, you are first served. So yeah, stay tuned. I will put it online. So. And with these decks, we are also getting a few of those. You will find them on our website, and once they are gone, they will be turned off again on our website. So I hope you will still be able to find them. It's not online yet. Sorry. We have Monday the 26th in the evening in Germany. I will have to go back and copy all the stuff from your website, the online shops.
Copyright claim.
Yes. To add this to be available for you as well. And once it's there, you will find it. I guess that on Tuesday, the 27th, you can get your hands on those few decks. And when gone, then they are gone. As you can see, this is possible as well. We are doing all kinds of runs. It could be also a Svengali deck, a stripper deck, and so on and so on. I did all this already in the past. We are flexible on this, and we are here to help. If you have any more questions, you know where to leave them down in the comments. We will answer all of them. And please, if you like this, leave a like.
Right.
And subscribe for this channel. We are still building this one up because we separated it from the German one with a larger audience, as we wanted to separate the languages, and therefore we are starting from scratch, and the numbers of the subscribers are still very low. If you want to help us with the algorithm, please leave a like. And until then, well, next week, the beginning of August, we will take 1 week off.
Summer break.
Summer break. You asked, and Philo asked as well. I would still do it because I was on a break myself.
Oh,
that meant I was already three times not here. But now we are all taking a week off altogether. So we will see us again in 14 days. I hope you will stay safe, magical, and we'll be able to perform your magic all over where you can.
Right.
And until then, see you very, very soon.
Bye, my deck. Bye.